so we can be more easily managed. And to me, that is a great crime against humanity, because I'm a fan of man. I'm a fan of our society. I'm a fan of where we can go. I realize life is but a flash, but the species can go on forever. And I'm in love with humanity and the great beauty it creates. And so I hate the desecration of our species, the vandalism of humanity by the controlling oligarchy, and it is my sworn duty to resist them. And I really appreciate you joining us, Mr. Hart.
Alex, can I give you a one-sentence wrap-up?
Sure.
I think modern life is a dehumanizing process, and to echo what you've just said, I think the name of the game is that we have got to claim back our humanity.
Well, that's what Thomas Jefferson talked about. He was worried 230 years ago about people moving into the cities because he said they will lose touch with what it is to be a human. And again, we've now seen that. I see it with my own children. You know, I'm not teaching them how to repair things, how to fix things. I know less than my dad knew. He knows less than his father knew. And who was the philosopher that said, and then I want you to close commenting on this. I look forward to having you back on. We appreciate your time. That adversity, makes wonderful, powerful, dynamic people, and decadence, lots of largesse and makes monsters. I mean, I butcher the quote, but adversity, makes men. Decadence makes monsters, but I think we're in this process, but it's the first time in history we have a scientific elite that other dictators and people have instinctively understood manipulation. These guys have graphed it all out and compartmentalized it all, and they brag about it, and it's so cold-blooded.
Well, I can tell you, Alex, in another sentence about adversity. 8 years ago, I had a stroke. It left me speechless and it paralyzed all my limbs. But I was told by my consultants to apply my mind and make my neurons in my brain form new connections. You can triumph. You can come out of adversity even stronger.
Well, God bless you. Thanks for coming on today, and it's good to have you, as you said, being part of this growing society of truth. God bless you.
Look forward to doing some more, Alex. Take care. Take
care. Appreciate him spending time with us. Bob Chapman, again, I apologize for having you hold a few minutes, but I know you've told me you don't mind when we have a guest on like that. For those that want to read the article, it says, top construction firm WTC destroyed by controlled demolition. A top former BBC reporter saying day one, they knew it was an inside job. Bob Chapman, what do you make of that?
I hadn't heard that. Did it just come out?
Yeah, it just came out.
No, I don't have any comment because I haven't read into it at all.
What about the overall...
What I would like to say is that was a wonderful guest, and I hope you have him on again soon. He understands what it's all about.
I just found the Victor Hugo quote, a French philosopher, adversity makes men and prosperity makes monsters. And that's absolutely true. But also, there's another Victor Hugo quote I really love, and that is, there is no army that can stop an idea whose time has come. Bob Chapman.
And that's for sure. And that was right around the French Revolution, I'm sure. And when I lived in Geneva, when I was going to the Université de Genève, I lived in Jean-Jacques Rousseau's old house, we'll call it. And he was in the same time period. But, the verity of life is the same as it was long ago. Mankind hasn't changed that much. It's just the instruments which those who are in power and want to remain in power use against mankind to harness them to do the things that they want them to do.
You're absolutely right. There's so much going on, so much to talk about. But let's get into the economy first. I mean, Bob, every time you come on, I hate to say the same thing, but you were right about everything that's unfolded. The banks have used the global crisis they publicly created to get even more power and to take over other sectors of the economy. What do you think is going to happen with the euro now? What's going on with the dollar? Where do you see gold going?
Well, first of all, your reference to the big new Brzezinski was correct, that it was at the Council on Foreign Relations meeting in Montreal about 2 weeks ago when he said what you had quoted him as saying, in essence. And we discussed this last week, I believe. And the bottom line is we got them running. And they're not just concerned, they're terrified. And I think that's great. And we're getting a greater and greater reach all the time. You and I have both been on radio and television in Europe, and we keep on getting invited back because obviously there's a great interest there. And so that is also, I think, in part because we're outside the box, we tell the truth, and people are looking for that because they're not getting it from their leadership in Europe for the most part. And so I think that the people behind government, the great powers, I think that they have decided that the euro and the European Union is not going to work or not going to fit for them. And I think they're going to do something else. And the first thing they're going to do is nationalize banking both in the United States as well as in Europe. And they'll probably do it country by country. How long will it take for the euro to get down? It's hard to say. If I had to guess, I'd probably say a year and a half, 2 years, maybe sooner. It all depends on how nasty things got. The Fed is now holding up the banks in Europe. They're all broke, just like the American banks. And they're clearing out their toxic waste, which is the collateralized debt obligations. They're buying the bonds that others are holding that were issued by Greece, Spain, Portugal, Ireland, and Italy will be next. In fact, Italy's rollover of debt this year and next year is preposterous. I saw the numbers this morning. They're double to 3 times what the other nations are.
All right, Bob, stay there. Let's come right back with that. Because I remember you 2 years ago with the bailout, you said by 2010, mid-2010, that's going to run out. Then we'll find out we're even in worse shape. And then in the next year after that, we'll find out we're in a full-bore depression. We'll see if you still agree with your previous forecast. It's all coming true. We'll be right back.
Global meltdowns, massive unemployment, endless wars, a new currency crisis, financially and morally bankrupt. A great and terrible storm is approaching. So what's the best way to get ready? To get prepared for hard times ahead? Introducing Off the Grid News, a weekly newsletter for independent patriots who want practical advice on how to survive and prosper in an increasingly dangerous world. It's the best way to get a black belt in emergency preparedness, survival skills, and off-the-grid living. Off the Grid News is fiercely independent, all about self-reliance, and packed with helpful information on survival gardening, food preparation, alternative energy, herbal medicines, privacy and security, as well as God, gold, and guns, with absolutely no apologies. And the best part? This $100 a year service is now free of charge for our listeners. That's right, free for our listeners who sign up at offthegridnews.com. That's offthegridnews.com. You can sign up for free at offthegridnews.com. Offthegridnews.com.
Originally, we the people have entrusted government to be the guardians of currency, to ensure purity, content, weights, and measures of gold and silver coins citizens would use for commerce. This reinstalled confidence after the demise of the fiat continental system, wisdom being lost with time. The government we once entrusted to protect from counterfeit has colluded with private business, creating the largest fiat counterfeiting scheme our country ever experienced. This is not only a transfer of power to an institution that is not accountable to our elected government, but has also caused the dollar to lose more than 90 cents of its original value. Now foreign governments are trying to divest themselves from this once world reserve currency. Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm offering a book that explains how the system works. Call me today at 800-686-2237. I will give you a silver dollar free just for purchasing the book. Call today at 800-686-2237. Again, that's 800-686-2237.
The question is, where should the American people draw their line in the sand?
What have we got? A republic or a monarchy?
A republic is based on a constitution which protects minority rights.
Not democracy, not mob rule, two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner.
So they think they own our land, they think they own our water, children, our education, our money.
We have to define who we are and what we will tolerate.
Somebody's going to ask you what you did during the Patriot Uprising.
You have been warned.
We have the facts. We have the Constitution. We have the Bill of Rights. We have common law. Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm so excited to be able to offer you Don't Tread on Me, Rise of the Republic. Tyranny is upon us, but liberty and the sleeping giant that is the American people is rising. A new tool in the info war. Don't Tread on Me. Order it at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com or call toll-free